Women's health research is largely and grossly underfunded. The funding at NIH is critical to our nation. It's critical to researchers.
There's obviously a lot of uncertainty around funding from the National Institutes of Health.
Let's hop into a CNN segment covering the GOP's planned attacks on medical research funding, all in the name of forcing through more rich guy tax cuts. So if you can, start off by leaving us a like. We really appreciate it. It helps boost the video in the algorithm, and we'll get right to the discussion.
There's obviously a lot of uncertainty around funding from the National Institutes of Health now that some Alzheimer's studies are in limbo. How is that going to impact the ongoing fight against Alzheimer's?
Well, I think we have to stay at it. That's why the women's Alzheimer's movement, I think, is so important. As I said, we've been pioneers in this space, and we're going to continue to fund research. We fund seed grants. Today celebrates our 50th grant. We know that Alzheimer's disproportionately impacts women, so we're going to stay at funding research into women's brain health. We're going to look for clues. Is it at perimenopause? Is it at menopause? What is going on in women's brains that people haven't discovered as of yet? So we're staying the course. I think it's a larger federal issue, and I think it's incredibly important. It's a bipartisan issue. Alzheimer's research has always been bipartisan, and it must continue to stay so.
I mean, it really is kind of insane to sit back and think only one of the two major political parties in this country support medical research, especially when you zoom out and realize how critical the effect on women specifically this administration is going to have between defunding things like Alzheimer research that disproportionately affects women, cutting Planned Parenthood funding that provides healthcare specifically for women who already see disproportionately less funding for women's health care. With Trump having overturned Roe v. Wade, we now see 60 rape victims a day on average denied the right to abortion. Remember, on the campaign trail when Trump promised to be like a protector of women, I mean, he's really living up to that 100 days in, isn't he?
Right now, NIH is under, as you know, the Department of Health and Human Services, and according to a preliminary budget blueprint from the White House, it will see cuts. I know this is obviously a little sensitive since your cousin is RFK Jr., who is running HHS, but what is your message to the agency? What needs to be done on the federal level?
Well, I think my message is that the funding at NIH is critical to our nation. It's critical to researchers and scientists. And obviously, I'm not the only person stressing that message. I'm staying very calm. I'm staying very focused. What we're doing here today is shining a light on researchers who are doing that kind of work.
They're cutting billions of dollars from NIH funding per this report. NIH is currently the largest public funder for both biomedical and behavioral research. They fund clinical trials for crucial treatments. Through their Cancer Institute, they are the largest funder of cancer research in the world, let alone America. They've provided the research that formed most of our basic understandings on human development from infancy to adulthood, the effects on aging, vaccines for hepatitis, HIV, HPV, all attributable to NIH research, chemotherapy, radiation therapy. I mean, literally, the list I could name for you guys would go on for days in terms of how crucial they are to our everyday life and quality of living. But like, they also supported the COVID vaccine, so they're woke. We got to get rid of them to own the libs.
Women's health research is largely and grossly underfunded, and we as a nation need to focus on funding it, bringing it up to parity. We need to look at what is going on in women's health journeys, that we can find cures so that women can make informed decisions about their brain health, but about their overall health at every juncture. So that this issue is incredibly important to me, and I think it's incredibly important to every woman at every age.
As it should be, and there's a lot more to learn about the woman's brain and why we're more susceptible to Alzheimer's. I mean, I'm certainly interested in that. Again, my grandmother had it.
But no, guys, you can't talk about disparities based on sex. That's woke. It's called identity politics. Have you ever heard of it? Why do we need women's medical research? Why can't there just be medical research? Research should be merit-based. Like, I'm sorry, but I do think it's incredibly egregious that MAGA is now attacking medical research on top of Medicaid, on top of endowments for universities who then use it for research, largely medical, and saying that, well, we're cutting Democrat waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're woke, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, the attack on health that these people are laying out sets the stage for a very scary America for our children. And I just hope that enough Republicans are willing to stand up in the face of this administration, or the damage that they're able to do prior to midterms will be irreparable, at least in the interim, in the short term.